Alrighty guys, welcome to Corner Pressure. We are back. I'm scared. We have with me Maca, also Logan Thriles. We're here to chat about stuff happening in Queensland Melee, in Australian Melee, in Melee in general. This is a Smash podcast, and we have a couple of things to discuss today. One very big one very exciting one that has got the community up, and I think tickets were sold out in a day, were they, Maca? In one day?
Yeah. Under 24 hours, all tickets were sold.
They were gone. It was done. It was crazy. It's basically
Done.
I'm gonna play a quick little video for you, and it's gonna be about the Downsmash Summit. It's very exciting. I think you need to realize that this is the future of Melee. Enjoy.
Same exact.
Alrighty, we're back. Was that exciting? That was super, you guys didn't see it, so but you know what I was showing to the world. It was
We
great.
have
wasn't
seen
it?
it before.
You have. I think you had a hand in making it as well, Maca. I was told by
Yes,
Bad that he sent you a lot of different iterations of it, and you went, change this, change that, make this better, and he was very
we
tired
kind of went
by
back
the
and
end.
forth a few times.
So what is it, Maca? Please explain to the people.
Okay, so Downsmash Summit is happening in February, basically because we wanted to have an event in February, and we didn't want to travel to a major, and there's no really majors on at that time anyway. So Downsmash Summit will be 16 people, 16 friends of ours that we have booked a mansion on the Gold Coast, and we're going to hang out there for 2 nights, play Melee. We're going to be doing Summit-style things like singles, doubles, crew battles. We're going to be doing special events and stuff like that. But yeah, it differs from a regular summit in terms of this isn't top players, because if we did that, then I wouldn't get to go.
Person who organised it would be sitting on the sidelines. Oh man.
Yeah, so we did like top 16 in Queensland, or I might have scraped in, but maybe not. So this one was just kind of, it was open invitation. First to buy tickets gets in. And yeah, we got a pretty good lineup of people coming from low tiers to mid tiers to some high level players as well, like Smoke Pub. We've got Deca coming, and we've got Sora coming as well. So it's going to be pretty sick.
We got some talent coming in. We got so Deca, I don't think has come to many things in recent times since I've started playing, and he's kind of one of the big names in the community. Obviously Sora is pretty much undisputed number 2 in Australia at the moment. Just got picked up by a new sponsor. He's on the up and up. He's moving up in the world. And obviously we've got Smoke Up, who is best Queensland. So that's 3 very, very good players, 3 top players coming along. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we also have Dozium, who is our little. He's a friend of all 3 of us, but he's
a brand
guy.
new player to the scene.
He's
been
brand
around
new.
for a couple of months,
but he's still learning the ropes, I would say.
But yeah, this event came about because, I don't know, in Discord we were talking about having something like this at my house, and then it ended up blowing out to like 15 people or something. And then my wife was like, hang on, I'm not having 15 boys showering in like my bathroom while I'm here as well. And so then we kind of had to change the plans with that one. And then Bad messaged me and he's like, dude, I'm thinking of getting like an Airbnb and doing this for realsies. And so then me and him went back and forth, ended up booking an Airbnb, charged $150 a ticket, so we can pay for accommodation, pay for food, and then there's some pot money as well. But yeah, it's not a huge pot or anything like that. It's more just us hanging out as friends and having a great time.
It's the prestige of winning the first Downsmash Summit, the first of many.
Yes.
Is this? You reckon if this goes well, we'll go again? We'll hit up another one?
Yeah, definitely. I know Bad really wants to do more, and so we're going to run this one, see how it goes, learn from it, see what we can do better, see what we could change, and then probably do another one. Well, like think about it. It sold out within 24 hours.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was $150 a pop. Like in Melee, not many people have that much money. And so the fact that it sold out so quickly shows that the demand is there for it. So we could definitely do it again in the future.
Well, I think Scared and I, we were thinking like, oh, maybe we'll get like 10, 11, 12, you know,
well,
like
we
we'll
might
just be
struggle.
us kind of guys. But like the last like 4 or 5, it might be tough. You know, like we might be like picking apart throughout the week, trying to edge people in.
Yeah.
But like within the first day, it was like 3 hours in, and it's like, oh, we've got like 7 tickets left. It's like, oh, okay.
That was
The
quick.
next day, next day I wake up. It's like, oh, Deca's coming. I was like,
Yeah,
excuse me?
Wait, Deca from Melbourne? As in like the Victoria.
Who told Deca about it? How did he find out about it?
Dude, he just
I don't
finds
even-
out.
I have no idea.
It's just a thing. I don't know. He lurks in so many discords. I'm pretty sure he's always in the Queensland Discord, and he's just everywhere. I don't know. It's,
I know what he is. He is. Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
he's
pretty sure he
subscribed to our YouTube channel or something.
Subscribe to
But yeah,
youtube.com/downsmash.
but me and Bad weren't sure how it would go. We're like, it could sell out on the night and people could be keen. But then I think I have so much experience with you guys and like booking accommodation and stuff with you guys that you trust me and you're willing to pay me $150 on the spot, knowing nothing
true.
about like the venue or anything like
We
that.
know Maca will look after us.
Yeah, whereas the rest of the scene didn't know that. So I wasn't sure whether it would sell out straight away or how it would go. But yeah, I think, we had 7 people coming by the end of the first night, and then a couple of people booked in the morning. And then, when Deca booked, and then it started becoming like a more exciting event when that happened, then the last tickets just like got snapped up and people were like,
snapped
crap,
up.
better get
Well, it's a super cool opportunity as well, because like you see the same people at events really often. Like you go to an event and you hang out with people, you sit down, you play some Smash, but you don't really like go out and just like chat with them for ages. Like usually if you're chatting with them, it's about Melee or it's about a game they've played or a set they've played or tournaments that are happening over in the US. But this is kind of an opportunity to kind of just sit down, hang out, chat, play games, play Mafia, you know, jump in a pool, play with a pool table, like stuff like that you don't really get the opportunity with a lot of Smashes outside of regular Melee, but also playing heaps of Melee at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, I'm just excited to hang out with everyone.
Yeah, I think with the down smash and up smash things recently, I think that's kind of been one of our goals in general, is to just get people to be more willing to hang out and socialize a little bit more, get to know each other, so it's not just like go compete, leave. We want people to actually have a bit more of a social endeavor, I guess.
Well, ultimately,
So I think
it is a social game. I mean, you can't really you can't really be part of a community like Melee by like coming and then playing your games and leaving. Like a lot of, if that's the case, you're only there for like half an hour for however long bracket runs, and then you're gone. But you sit down next to your, like, it's not something like CS:GO or League where you just get match made with a person, you play with them, and then once the thing's over, you never see them again. Like you're meeting with these people, the same people, week after week after
Every
week,
single week.
literally every week. And it's kind of, it'd be hard, you have to specifically avoid trying to make friends in that sort of environment. So it is interesting. This is the first time that Queensland has kind of come together for an event like this. In my opinion, at least, I think it's interesting that maybe more so one that's open to the public rather than like a private group of friends that kind of organize it together.
Yeah, and that was a big thing that Bad wanted, was to open it up to everyone. I was like, let's just send it to our buddies first, get
To our
everyone in
buddies.
who we want in. And he's like, nah, man, I want it to be open. And he convinced me that, this will be a good thing. We'll just put it out free for all. Whoever wants to come can come.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the mix is. I was a bit worried that we might get like a weird mix of people and it wouldn't be good, but pretty much everyone in our scene would be good to come. So it ended up way better than expected. Seriously, the lineup of people that we have, I think it's going to be sick.
That's gonna be really cool.
I'm really happy that we have a lot of, for lack of better words, like the lower tier players. I think it's really good that they've just kind of thrown up their money and pretty much said, like, I want to get better. Like, one of the things I really want to do when I'm up there is just help everyone grind and stuff like that. So it's really good having, like, Jack Lanch, Waltles, Thosium, all that kind of stuff. I think it'll be really good for them, especially because a lot of them can't net play often. So they kind of just go to tournaments and They have their like round 2 losers as their most important match.
As the one to stay alive. And they got amas though.
Yeah.
We very often run amas brackets at the Downsmash events, which is really, I think that's one of the things that's really cool. Is that you can kind of create storylines through amas as well. Like you have like a demon and amas that you're trying to beat, and that kind of kept me around when I was first starting. Was kind of like trying to beat the person who knocked me out of amas last time, because it's you kind of get a second lease on life when you have another tournament for people that are more like, sometimes you turn up to an event and your first round is Smopop, who's the best in Queensland, and then your second round is like Entice, who was like number 8, and you're like, well, that was a fun tournament, like I enjoyed that. Like I just played 2 people where I got mollywopped and it wasn't even close. So I think amas is something that has really improved as far as low level attendance and enjoyment of a tournament.
Definitely.
So as far as the actual events at Summit, Maca, what are we looking at? What have we got? We've got, you said that we saw on the video, there was a lot of things that popped up on the screen, but as far as running it, so the bracket, it's a 16-man bracket as far as I know. How's that looking?
Okay, so the schedule is up in the air at the moment. We haven't locked anything down in terms of what we're doing, but we're thinking first day, everyone rocks up. We do some friendlies, we have some dinner, and then after dinner, we'll probably run doubles bracket just all the way through.
Yep.
And then we're going to be running on the second day, we'll be running singles in the, I don't know when, but we're doing singles. We'll be running an amateur bracket. We're going to do like a special event, probably melee related. So it might be like a low tier Iron Man, or we might do like a teams event where everyone gets a CPU, a level 9 CPU as their partner. Like that could be fun.
The best teams event.
So we might do that, and we're going to do crews. So we'll do draft crew battles. So maybe the lower seeds will become captains or something like that.
Ooh.
And then, so there's pots for all of this sort of stuff. So there's pots for singles, pots for doubles. There's a smaller pot for the special event. There's going to be a pot for crews as well. So the winning crew will actually get some money each, which will be cool. We're going to do some beer pong doubles as well. We're going to run a beer pong bracket.
Nice. A bracket for beer pong. Only melee players.
Maybe single limb though, so people don't get too drunk.
Just stay
we're then going to do Mafia one night. I think you're running that, Scared.
I'm running that.
And then
That's
the second night, we're either
gig.
going to redo Mafia, or Bad has this game called Secret Hitler, which is kind of along a similar vein that we might do instead on the second night. And then the last morning will just be some friendlies and pack up, basically.
Yeah,
so it's a shorter event than probably you would want, but it's a first time. So
if I'm getting this right, it's like a night, then a full day, and then a morning. Is that kind of the running of the event?
Basically,
yeah.
But all the events will be done by the second night. So we'll check in at 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably run stuff till like midnight, and then
6
wake up the
a.m.
next
start.
day. And 6, 5 a.m., 4:30 maybe.
Yeah, before dawn. Yep, nice.
Yeah, no, probably like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. start,
Yeah.
and then run stuff again through till like midnight.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then,
Nice.
So, and
I'm
then
super keen. This will be so
Downsmash.
great.
Well, then you'll finish on the Tuesday morning, and then Downsmash will be on Tuesday night on the Gold Coast.
Oh, the
Downsmash
Downsmash Gold Coast will be on. Oof.
Yeah, so for anyone who wants to stay for that
And play
then they
more
can just
melee.
hang around and go and play some more melee.
I like it. Well, I guess that's especially good for people that are coming into state, like Sora and Deca. They can kind of just like hang out for a little bit extra on that day, and then have another quick session of melee before they head off to whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
Dude,
well, Sora's...
Oh, sorry,
you go. Oh, I was just saying,
You got
Sora's
the
thinking
sauce.
about coming up for a bit longer to play some more melee, maybe stay at some people's houses. And Deca
cool.
was saying he wants to stay a bit longer as well and do all of the theme parks and stuff. So maybe we'll need to tee it up, Thrall. So Down Smash Brisbane on the Thursday before the event can be paid, and then Down Smash on the Tuesday on the Gold Coast can be paid. So we can work it out for these people.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Dekar is like, he's mainly coming up A, because he wants to come up to Gold Coast in general, B, because it's only $75 a night. It's actually not that bad for some pretty good accommodation.
Yeah.
And then C, I think he's just really fucking keen to go to all the theme parks. That's what I've
It's
got.
actually. It seems like he's got like cheap
It seems like
accommodation.
that's at least like 70% of why he's up here.
Well, literally, he's 20 minutes from like good theme parks. Like we've got Dreamworld Whitewater World, and like that's like 10 minutes further north than like the Movie World, the Sea World, the Wet and Wild. Like you got so many in this like tiny little packed area. It's pretty good though. I've got world passes, so I go there all the time.
Shit, humble brag.
Humble brag. I go on all the big roller coasters.
On the
I'm
Wiggles
actually super
teacup,
keen.
don't you?
Sorry,
You go on the Wiggles teacup ride,
dude,
don't
that's
you?
the best ride. Have you been on it recently?
You spin that thing.
You turn
super
the thing
fast.
and you spin really quick, and the kid on with you is like, "What are you doing?" No, I don't do that. That's might be illegal. The kids area actually is super good at Movie World. Have you been there recently? Like the baby roller coaster is actually so good. It's like the Roadrunner, but stop. It's so good. Shut up. No, okay. So Downsmash Summit, guys, I'm super keen. We've got what the players we've got. So we'll go through the list. Mac, have you got the list there of players?
Yeah, I'll just bring it up.
You'll bring it up. He's onto it. He knows. Is it, by the way,
Yeah.
in the reveal video that we have, was that the seeding as well? Because I noticed.
Yeah, that was the seeding.
I noticed
Okay.
that I was below Logan in that. And I was like,
That is
"Oof,
correct.
Well,
oof, wait a second.
You are now,
Wait a second.
terms- because of Logan's most recent results, beating Kami and Oro, I feel that
Ooh.
Logan should be seated above you at this point in time.
Fair call. I'm gonna
So-
disagree, but that's okay.
So
No,
seating is subject to change. Like
Mhm.
you can't go further. You can go further down scared.
Good.
Like, I can
Oh
put
no.
you, from 7th to 12th. And if people complain about seating, then they get automatically dropped. Is how it works.
I wasn't
You know,
complaining. I was pointing
every time
out.
you complain, it drops. a
I was
spot.
pointing out for the record.
Okay, so we have Dozium, then Watlez, we got Tofu, Jackalanch, Masenko, Bad, me, Maca. We got Blasco, then Buins, then Scared, then Thriles, then Oro, then Jaybirds, which will be sick to have him back, then Smopup, then Deca, then Sora as top seed.
Cool. All right. So we've got also Jaybirds. Now this is someone I can't really touch on because he had left right as I started playing. As like my first couple weeks, he was gone. So, do you guys want to expand on Jaybirds a little bit?
Do you want to go, Logan?
I haven't really met him much, but I'm really interested to see how he'll do because I think he's in Korea at the moment. I don't know when he gets back or what he's doing, but I don't know if he's been playing much up there. I think I've seen like little tidbits about how he's playing occasionally, but no one up there is like really that good. It's a really small scene up in Korea because they're like primarily PC bang orientated. So yeah, I'm really keen to see how he'll go. Like I think his seeding could vary a lot. Like he could be above or he could be below scared. You know, like no one's really sure at the moment. But you know, he's the local Falco from around here, a part of the Smansion crew. I think the old Whispers used to say he was one of the only Falcos that utilized lasers really well. This and that. So something we're not used to experiencing.
Good.
We're used to just kind of the jump there, sometimes shine.
Dare is broken though. Not gonna lie.
But yeah, no, it'll be cool to see how he's doing.
So he's been over in South Korea for, has it been a year now? Has it been?
Yeah, I think he's been
while.
teaching English up there for a while.
Okay. Cool. Okay, well,
Yeah,
see, that's what I'm really excited to meet because of.
He used to be 3rd seed in Queensland from memory.
Oh wow.
Not
okay.
3rd seed, 3rd on the
Third on the
PR in Queensland, like above Aussie Rob. Him and Aussie Rob would kind of go head to head quite often. It's kind of like, he's similar to Aussie Rob's level from what I remember. Like he could take on like Psych and he could take on Smopup, but then he could also lose to Aussie Rob.
Yeah.
So, and I beat him once, but he was playing Fox at the time. So whether or not he was sandbagging that one, you know, but my ELO just like jumped massively when that happened.
I recall, from what I heard, I think Aussie Rob had his number for a bit. I don't know if he like took a step back from the game or anything, but I know when the last tournament he came to was a Downsmash where he beat Aussie Rob, and that was kind of a big deal before he left. So I think Well, I don't know about Demon, but yeah, I think it was a good win for him.
Yeah.
At that point. So I think
Okay.
maybe down the line he either took a step back or Rob just kind of bumped up a little bit.
Sure.
But
Okay.
yeah, don't quote me on it. I don't know my Queensland history too well.
What you suit you? That's cool. All right.
He
well,
was good.
I'm
Let's
gonna
just say he's a good player.
So I'm super keen for Downsmash Summit. This is gonna be sick, but I'm gonna move the conversation on a little bit, as we don't want to spoil too much of the happenings, and also a lot of the happenings aren't set in stone yet. So there's like a little bit of a like there might be things happening, but there might not. So our next topic is practice methods and mentality, both while practicing and also mentality in the game. So us three kind of have pretty different ways of practicing, to put it. Now this is a bit of contention in the group because
It's an understatement.
it's so I'm gonna go down the line. I'm gonna go last because I haven't thought of anything yet. So Maca, how do you practice, and what is your mentality with that practice?
I practice very differently to basically anyone. So I read some psychology stuff, and basically, I don't know. How do I explain it? I don't know. Come back to me. Let me think about it.
Okay,
You
good,
start.
perfect. All right, Logan. Sorry, you're onto it.
I'm probably the worst one to talk to about practice.
Perfect.
Like when I first started, I always talk to people and they're like, "Oh man, the entry barrier to the game's quite hard." And I was like, "Man, I powered it out like 18 hours in my first week, and I've been sick ever since." So I'm kind of like a turn brain off and just perpetually grind kind of guy. I think Mac is a little more structured than I am, but I'm just kind of a let things happen, press buttons. If I notice they're going bad, briefly reiterate on the thing, but then for the most part, I'll just sit here. Like I could be playing right now just on my monitor, my PVM right here, and just grinding, doing tech skill for like the next 3 hours.
But not really paying attention.
Yeah, but my practice is kind of, if I am doing it, there's a lot. I kind of go in waves. But if I'm doing it, there's a lot. But a lot of it's not really the most optimal. Excuse me.
That was disgusting.
Like a lot of mine is just movement, tech skill, and then I do probably the most of my stuff is like external thinking. Like if I have a loss or something for the next week, I'm like thinking about that stuff. Or I'm because I try to help like everyone in the scene. So I end up thinking about other characters doing this and that, and I think that in general it helps me just think a lot about what's going on in the game, or like what I could be doing better, or this and that. So a lot of mine's just kind of outside the game. It's all neutral. Inside the game, it's all like tech skill, and then there's like a small little bubble of punish over here that I sometimes look at, but not often.
I think one thing that's said about Logan's gameplay a lot is that it looks beautiful. When he's moving and grooving, you just like you don't know where he's gonna be, and it's just it looks good. But if he gets a hit on someone, he's gonna have to win neutral again to get another hit because his punish, like he gets a nair and he's like, I got a nair, so he waves lands 6 times across battlefield and then goes back to a neutral, and it's like you could just grab them. Like, so I think that's one thing that's
Quetz explained it the best when we were analyzing one of my sets against Logan, and he's like, I don't think Logan even knows that you're there. Like, he's not actually playing against you. He's just kind of doing his own thing, running around the stage, like doing tech skill. Yeah, and that's kind of Logan is the movement king, the neutral king, terrible at punish.
I love that set though, because whenever you bring that up, I know the exact set you were talking about. Because I think I was mildly frustrated for a second. I just did like a lap around Dreamland, did like 2-3 more. I did 3 or 4 more. And I was kind of like, oh, that's right. We're playing a game. So let's probably
it's like
get back
7
into
times
it.
around. I was like, oh no.
Mac is in the corner waiting for me to come down. I'm just like.
So why do you ignore punish so much, Logan?
What's the methodology there?
My justification for this is I think like punish on floaties is a lot easier as Falcon. A lot of it's just I think it's really boring, to be honest. I don't think Falcon's punish on floaties is fun.
Yeah.
Just kind of nair, up air, knee, whatever, mash face on C stick. Once you've jumped, it usually links into something else. So that's kind of easy to practice or focus on. But regarding like fast fallers, I feel like once you get the knockdown, a lot of the time it's like a mini neutral where you've just kind of gone back to neutral game, but they have limited options out of it. and you kind of have to guess or react fast enough. So like you'll have situations where you might knock them into the corner, and then you'll space around the inside part of the side platform, closer to center stage. But then you've realized that you don't have time to just immediately regrab or hit them for it. So you kind of have to make a decision. You're like, are they going to jump at me? If yes, you kind of have to like dash back throughout like an aerial or like dash dance grab, or are they going to like for Falco, for example, are they going to like jump in place and laser? And you have to react to these all really differently. That I feel like practicing just kind of getting a hit doesn't really like do too much for you. A lot of it's kind of less immediate. But then I don't know. I'll watch like SUJ play like SFAT, and SFAT's always like DIing like up, and it's just like so he just gets like up air chains and shit like that. And it's like, why doesn't this happen when I play people? People just, no matter what it is, they're DIing down and away. So now I'm getting like 40-50% knees, and sometimes they die.
And that's just the saddest feeling.
So but yeah, so I think the follow-up game and keeping pressure on is very different for Falcon. Whereas I think if you're playing like Fox or something, a lot of the times you'll up tilt, they'll pop up. You can go like up air, you can do this and that. I think it's a lot easier to focus on. Whereas Falcons, a lot of it's very pressure and what they're doing out of the tech option situation.
I think it's a lot of tech chasing.
So you don't get to keep on them as much as you get to keep pressure on them via what they do out of said thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I find that harder to focus on. So
that's fair.
Kind of limit it.
It's kind of like a different game plan compared to like obviously on floaties. Like floaties, you kind of have a flow chart where you get a hit, it leads into another hit, which can lead into a knee if they're holding in or whatever. Yeah. Whereas I think with fast fallers, you're getting a hit, they're getting knocked down, you kind of have to react to where they take to or they get up option, which I guess kind of makes it harder to, because there's not many things that I found with Falcon that kind of just lead into one another. Like all of them kind of knock down or knock really far away. Like not many of them keep fast falls close to you so you can keep on doing things. But
even
just, I guess that makes it hard to practice in a way.
Even just like if you're expecting them to tech and they don't, how like jarring that difference is. Like if you get a knockdown and then you go to like react with a regrab or something, or you're setting up for like certain things, but they just miss the tech.
Yeah.
Then a lot of the time it's like, oh shit, like it's harder to react to the missed tech, like the missed tech into roll because you don't have a timing to work off of.
So you think that because Falcon's Punish is kind of weird like that, you're better off focusing on movement and focusing on neutral and interactions in neutral rather than trying to smash out a bit of punish game? You think your time is better spent doing that, or?
Kind of. I think instead of focusing because how you deal with certain things relies on how you think they're going to act. Yeah. Like if I get a couple of knockdowns or regrabs and then I know you're going to tech in place or you're going to miss tech to try fuck me up, then I can get a knee. But if I'm setting up for a certain thing, like I don't know, maybe I'm just going to go for a regrab or something and you miss the tech, but I haven't done the wave dash down method and I've done the dash forward because I'm trying to set up either getting a solid regrab and or an aerial follow up. But now you've missed the tech. Now it's really hard for me to follow up, and I just kind of have to let you go,
get away with it,
or try to stay close enough that I can react to get up attack with shield and do this and that.
Yeah.
So a lot of my thing is pretty much like if you do escape, which there is a solid chance that you might, at least like 30%. You know what I mean? Once you do get that, what do I do next? So if you're in the corner, where do I space myself to react to you trying to fight out or jump out?
So you'd say a lot of your practice is more mental than anything, which is, I guess, it's like you kind of have to consider all of your options and option select well, which I think is vastly different to how Maca practices. I think Maca's...
Okay, so I thought about it and I know what I can say.
Perfect.
So my practice is based around the belief that in order to get good at melee, being good at melee just equals like amount of time spent in focus practice. And so if you're willing to sit down and grind it out and do the practice, then you'll become good. If you're not willing to do that, then you won't become good. There's obviously like some levels of talent in that where some people learn faster. I'm on like the low end of the spectrum. So when I have to learn like technical things, it fucking takes me ages. Like, oh my God. Like Logan will pick up something in like 20 minutes and it'll take me like 3 months to like learn the same thing. So I'm kind of on that low end of the spectrum in terms of picking up technical ability for some reason. I don't know. And so my practice is focused around, because I have that like seeming weakness and because I have that inability to like pick up things supernaturally. My focus is on like specific tech, getting it like so good to the point where like it's just unconscious for me and I don't need to think about it anymore. Because when I need to think about the tech that I'm implementing, I'm pretty slow at it. It's kind of jarring my movement and stuff like that. So that just requires me to practice the same thing over and over and over and over again for extended periods of time.
And over
like
and over
crashing,
and over.
Like crouching wave dashing, I have been doing for the last like every day for the last like 2 months straight, like to get it perfect so that you're not wasting any frames at all, like in between the jump and the air dodge down, as well as like in between, like after the wave dash when you can do another one. And so I've been spending like a lot of time focusing on that. And while I've actually noticed it's made me a worse player like in the last month, especially because my practice, I haven't been doing it heaps. I'm worse now than I was like a few weeks ago in my overall gameplay. But there's one particular skill of like wave dashing is getting better. I'm starting to finally implement it into games. So yeah, it makes me worse like in the short term, but then the way that I focus on practice is I'm looking 3 years into the future and saying, okay, to be at the level that I want to be at in 3 years time, what specific things do I need to be able to do technically? And then I focus on that. So I know that in 3 years time in the future, I want my crouching wave dashes to be absolutely perfect. And so I'm happy to get a bit worse now, get that like under my belt and like completely unconscious, so then I can move on to focus on other things. So I kind of mix in like that super narrow technical practice that I know you both disagree with, as well as practicing. So it's kind of 50% that, and then 50% is like practicing punish game. And so I turn on like a purple overlay for, is it hit lag or hit stun? The one after you hit them where they can't act out of it. And so I try and do things where like Fox is always purple. And so he can't do anything apart from DI to get out of the moves that I'm doing. So when I'm practicing punish, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, what can I do that is effectively like perfect for this situation and this DI that Fox can't do anything, or whichever character you practice against. But for me, it's mostly Fox at the moment. So so whereas Logan's punish game often leads to like knockdown and techs, mine's like focusing on, okay, how can I like guaranteed get a death here? And in some situations on like Battlefield, which is the most common stage for me, that might lead to tech on platform. But in a lot of situations, I can cover tech on platform by reacting to it. So I'm focusing on what can I do to then lead to death. So I do a lot of punish practice as well. So you guys hate my practice because I'm so like narrow-minded and you think I'm an idiot, but I kind of think it'll have a payoff in the future.
The only thing I'm not fond of is the old, we have to practice on vanilla.
I've moved away from that.
He's changed from that now, Logan, though.
I've changed from that. I do understand what you're saying because Falcon is so different. So I used to be a big proponent of the way Armada practices, which is just like vanilla Fox who misses every single tech and like hardly DIs if at all, which I think is really good for some characters and the way they pop them up. Like it can be really good for Peach, and being able to capitalize on a missed tech is really important. But then depending on the character, like Falcon, who a lot of his hits just like knock down Fox and lead to a tech situation. If all you're practicing is missed tech, then you've got 3 different options that you're not learning. And so with Puff, I kind of feel like that's the same. I need to practice the different tech options because a lot of my hits give Fox a lot of time to think about which way they're going to tech. I don't know.
Do you focus much on neutral, or is it just kind of movement and punish?
It's really movement and punish at the moment because my movement's not good enough that I can focus on neutral well enough. So like Fox is so fast, which is obviously the hardest matchup for me as Puff, and my movement isn't great at the moment. And so once the movement is great, then I'll focus more on like the neutral interactions.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to
really at the moment
neutral when you can't move around your character as you want to.
And Fox is just so fucking fast that like
Look, you're not wrong.
Like you practice something, you're like, okay, sick. I've got like Fox in the corner. You do like something to hold space, and then he just like jumps away from you. And you're like, it changes so quickly. Like I can't get my head around it.
That's fair.
hopefully when my movement gets better, it'll make more sense.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, leading off that,
Your turn, Scared.
it's my turn.
So Scared. So in case people don't know, just to clarify, like Scared has been in the scene for about a year and is likely going to be on the next PR update. So he's moved up very quickly in the ranks, going from never have played the game basically, or focused on Brawl previously, to within a year being like one of the top 10 players in Queensland. So how do you practice Scared?
How do I practice? I practice for results, Maca. I play as Fox. Logan, you know what? I could do with any character.
Hey, practice.
So, maybe
the
not
results
Puff.
start
Puff
on the
is
character
gross.
select screen.
We'll come back to that, Maca. That's something Logan really wants to puff off. Now, so basically, my way of practice is similar to the way Logan does, and very different to how Maca does. So Maca is very much a proponent of, as he said, sitting down, smashing out wave dashes for 3 hours at a time every day, and that I can't sit down at the like since I've been playing, except for the first week. The first week I sat down for about 2.5 hours each day, and I just smashed out wave dashes. I couldn't short hop with Fox. I still struggle sometimes. And then basically moving on from there, I kind of split my practice into kind of 45-minute lots. I'll usually only do between like 1 or 2 45-minute lots per day. If I do it that day. I usually do it every day now. But back in the first couple of months when I wasn't so on fire about the game, then it was a bit harder. But as far as like
how
the
much do you
practice
practice
itself,
a day? An hour and a half a day? 2 lots of 45 minutes a day?
No, usually now about 25 minutes a
Yeah.
day. 25, 30 minutes a day now. And that practice pretty much solely consists of movement. So just the first 10 minutes of me just running around without anyone else on the screen, wave dashing, ledge dashes, wave landing to platforms, wave landing off platforms, shield drops, all that sort of stuff, all on vanilla melee, no UCF, so no free shield drops. Working on my up smash out of shield, on my running up smashes, shine, short up nair, stuff like that, stuff that is integral to movement, my wave shines, and then I chuck a character in there. I beat up the character for about 15 minutes. Usually it's whatever character I'm struggling with the most, so I'm struggling on working on getting shine follow-ups on Marth at the moment because of the swap to NTSC, so I've been working a lot on that. And that's kind of all the practice I do. I kind of just sit down, I smash out some movement, some basic tech that I always need to keep working on, keep improving, and then I practice punish for a little bit. I practice follow-ups, I practice getting in from different ranges and using shine different ways and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit of what Logan does, where he moves around and he does a lot of that sort of movement practice. But I struggle with Maca's reasoning. I want to bring this back. I want to go, I think I have always practiced with the thought of improvement in stuff that will be useful to me now, as well as being cognizant of stuff that will be useful to me in the future. So one good example I have of when I was actively practicing was learning to L cancel with a soft L cancel press, because that retains the ability to tech if you do get hit. Now I tried to implement that into my game, and it was fairly detrimental because I was focusing fully on L canceling, and it kind of made my neutral suck. So I practiced it a fair bit. I can kind of do it every now and then, but it's something that I worked out it would take me a lot of time to do. It would be difficult. I would play worse because of it, and in that way it doesn't affect me that much. The amount of times where I hard L press cancel and then get hit and I miss the tech because of hard L press cancel comes up maybe once a game, if that. Whereas I think if I spend as much time making sure I always soft L cancelled, I could probably get something else done really, really well, like being able to wave shine up smash Marth every time, and stuff that I think will be more useful to me now and also in future than worrying about soft L cancels, which is why I kind of disagree with Maca's way of going, well, I want to make sure I can crouch and wave dash perfectly every time, but he can't up throw rest a Fox every time on slide DI. Like, that's stuff that I think is stuff that you kind of need to practice, definitely, but not solely work on just that. Like, it's I don't know. I think
Well, crouching wave dashing is different from like soft press L cancel in terms of how important it is to Puff's game,
true.
especially against like a lot of the cast.
Yeah.
In terms of getting by doing the crouching wave dashing, you crouch under a lot of attacks, a lot of grabs.
Yeah.
Not attacks, mainly grabs. You also get the ASCI as well. So it's kind of like a big foundational piece of Puff's game, which I haven't been able to do. And when you can't do it, you're kind of restricted to just jumping around the stage, and you have very little grounded movement at all, or your grounded movement is extremely slow for an already slow character. So it's kind of foundational for Puff, or at least I think so.
Well, I think while it is foundational, I think also it's worth practicing other things at the same time. Like if you're practicing to the detriment of your aerial mobility or bread and butter combos, then I think that's when it becomes an issue. Like I think we were having a chat a little while ago, and I brought up the fact that practicing one chord on the guitar over and over again isn't going to get you anywhere near making a song, which is kind of an interesting analogy for Melee, where like if you're practicing crouching wave dash all the time, what are you going to do when you don't need to crouching wave dash? Like that's sort of like the mindset I kind of go, well, I want to practice stuff that'll be useful and stuff that will impact my game now and see results now, as well as being mindful of how it's going to be used in the future. So whereas you're kind of focusing on the long game.
Yeah, I'm focusing on the future and focusing on the fact that I can't learn a lot of tech at the same time, or at least I don't feel that I'm very capable of doing that easily. And so being able to focus on one thing, like, you know how there's that cycle of you're unconsciously incompetent about something, so you suck at it, but you don't even realize you suck. And then you become consciously incompetent, so you realize that you suck and you can't do it. And then you move to consciously competent, so you can do it, but you really have to think about it when you do it. And then the next step is called unconsciously competent, where you can just do it without thinking. So I'm just basically taking the foundational pieces that I look at that I need for my character and for my gameplay in the future, and I'm trying to get them through that cycle as quickly as possible. And I think by focusing on doing it like one thing and doing it correctly, getting it through that cycle and then moving on to something else, then like my mind's freed up to focus on other things. So
I think though, part of what I think Sked has to realize is like when him and I are doing the same thing as you're doing, but we're focusing on like more at once. And I think that's partly because we pick up on things a little bit faster. Like if you've seen my Fox, ooh, can do anything.
Can it though? Like, can it win, Logan?
Except win.
No, yeah, except that. But if you challenge me to tech skill horse, bitch, I'm there.
Oh, you'll mess me up, 100%. But
but yes, like when Scared says he'll practice, you know, a couple of integral things to his game, dash dancing, nair shine, this and that. Like he's doing what you're doing, but in a more broader sense, because he probably picks up on things easier. And they're still core foundational. They'll help him down the line, this and that. Same with how he's practicing ledge dashes. But the thing with Maca is like one thing, one at a time. It's like, what is it today, Maca? And he's like, today I'm practicing shielding. And you're like, all right, man.
It's integral to my gameplay as a Puff. It's integral, Logan.
Well, as well, I've changed so much about the way that I use the controller as well, which has made me take like a massive step back. So using like tap jump to jump, using the analog stick to jump, changing like the trigger finger that I use for wave dashing, because I changed to like tap jump. You know, so I've like constantly changed, like rather than using like the left trigger finger, I'll use like the right middle finger for my wave dashes, because then my right index finger I Z cancel, or I L cancel with Z. So I don't know. I've changed heaps of stuff. So I don't know. My thinking is based off the research by Anders Ericsson, who's a psychologist who studies how people become expert performers.
Yeah.
And he's shown that basically when people do deliberate or purposeful practice, which is like constantly trying to do something that you can't yet do, and if you spend your time focusing on trying to do things harder than you're currently able to do, and you spend periods of time, a lot of time doing that, then you progress towards becoming a good player. So that's kind of the foundation of my belief and why I practice the way I do.
That's fair. I think, there's definitely different strokes for different folks, I would say. It's
Here's a
whatever
question
might work
for you.
Yeah, go.
how did you go from being a noob to being like Queensland PR basically in a year? Like, if you had to sum up, what did you do to get good quick? Because we've had people come into the scene that have been around longer than you, that aren't as good as you. You know, we get new people who come in and they stay the noobs for a year, whereas you came in as a noob. You were losing every game, like we all do when we first start.
It was so sad.
Every single game. but then you progress so quickly. So what do you think you did that made you progress quickly that other noobs aren't doing?
I think
I've got a lot of feels on this topic when you're done.
Pardon?
I've got a lot of feelings on this
we'll come
topic
to you, Logan.
Okay.
I think a fire to get good, like to win, to be able to prove that you can be good at a game, I think is really important. Something that I really wanted to do. I came to my first event and I got absolutely mollywhopped. It wasn't even close. Like I won one game purely through dash attack, F smash at the right times, because I'd played Smash before with friends and I was fairly good. But it's a whole different ball game when you're playing competitively with people, and they're so good. So I'd say having fire to get really good, to want to improve, to want to practice, and practice is one of the big ones. Practicing consistency and consistently. I think being able to practice every day is so much more beneficial. Even 10-15 minutes a day is so much more beneficial than practicing 2 hours 2 times a week. Because you are picking up the controller every day, you're thinking about the game every day, you're putting in, like, even if it's 10 minutes before you go to bed, it's still so good. Because you're practicing stuff that you're going to be using, and I think that's one of the most important things that people don't do, is they say they practice, but really the practice is 3 hours of practice before they go to an event. Like, they might play okay for a little bit during that 3 hours, but the consistency isn't there. They can be playing really well that day or really poorly. But if you pick it up every day, and if you practice a little bit every day, then I think that's way more beneficial as far as rapid improvement is concerned. It might not be so good for focused improvement, so for very specific things that do require you sitting down and just like going crazy on a certain technique. But for general improvement, I think consistent short periods of practice is way better than one big or 2 big hits during the week. I think that's one of the things that's produced the most results, really. Number 3 would be, I'd say net play was really, really big. Being able to play other people when I needed to, when I wanted to practice new things, the willingness of people to help. Often after a net play session with Lane or a net play session with XP, would be playing, and then afterwards they'd be like, you kept on doing all these things wrong, you kept on doing all these things really poorly, like you'd constantly sub you back to stage, you'd do all this sort of really bad stuff. And I remember one game in particular where I was playing with Lane, and he was like, okay, this game I'm gonna pause every time you do something wrong. And I don't think we even finished that game. I think we got to maybe 2 stocks apiece, and
Still going now.
And it was a good solid half hour of like, I'd run in with a dumb nair and he'd pause and be like, why'd you do that? It's because I wanted to hit you. Well, but he just dashed 10 scrap. So that was amazingly helpful. So I'd say getting someone to mentor you in stuff that you think is good but is actually really bad, because there's like a lot of habits people have they don't realize are really bad, and having someone beat them out of you is actually super useful. I'd say those are my big 3. I'd say consistent practice, having a fire to get good, and also having people willing to help. And people that can help as well. People that are good enough to be able to go, this is where you should be doing this instead of XYZ. So I'd say that's my big 3. Logan, you can jump in.
No one fucking practices. All you have to do to get good is practice.
I wouldn't say all, but that's a very, very big aspect of it.
Pretty much. But I think like if you wanna break like top 20 in Queensland right now, all you have to do is practice. Like if you look at Dozium, for example, Dozium hadn't won any games or anything, and then I helped him. We sat on Discord one night, and he just having me there to talk to during. He practiced for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
now his edge guards are like way better. And then he practiced here and there during League of Legends queues, and while he was watching Worlds. Then he comes out next week and he beats Jackalanch. Shocker, practice pays off, guys.
Pretty much though, like that's a big thing.
It literally comes down to the fact that like no one practices enough. Like a lot of them do sit there and like, I practiced this week. Like, what did you do? They're like, I booted up the game and beat up level 1 Fox for like 20 minutes. And you're like, that's not really practicing. That's playing the game. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I don't know. When I first started, my example probably doesn't really work as well. But like me and Aura started at the same time, and like immediately, like, this game's cool. I want to practice. So you practice, you do all your cancels, do this and that. Next week, you're moving and grooving. It's good. And then you lose to someone, and then like you go home and you're like, man, Martha's really fucking bullshit. Then you look up, how do I beat
feel
Marth?
you so hard.
Yes, then you go on
hate
Smash
Marth.
Boards. You're like, how do you beat Marth? And there's like 18 threads. You're like, shit, everyone has this
There's a way
problem.
to do it.
Shocker. But then yeah, you just keep on trucking along.
Yeah.
But a lot of people kind of sit there and they'll play and they'll dip out of the scene for a month, 2 months, or there's a couple of people who'll go to like every single event, and then every time you're like, hey man, you practice this week? They're like, oh no, not really. I just go to tournaments. And you're like,
It's like, well, you can't really expect to
really
be
work.
improving quickly if you don't put in the time, I think. Even like
yeah.
like you say 20 minutes isn't really practicing. When you just boot up the game and you're beating up someone for 20 minutes, that's not practice. That's you just playing around. Like, practice, I think, is
that's you catching back up to like where you were.
Yeah, that's true. It's restarting the system, like getting back to what you're like, recognizing this is a good situation to do X, Y, Z, being able to short hop, like stuff like that. That's not practice. Focus, like what Maca was saying with focus practice. It's really like, I want to be able to do X, and I'm going to spend a bit of time doing X, and like you can still do it in short periods of time for sure. But if you're just jumping on and you're just like kneeing a fox 7 times in a row, what are you learning? Not really much. So I don't know. I think it's one of those things that you just need to put the time in. Really, that's all it comes down to.
Yeah, I just
One
think
of the
though, like,
things oh yeah, you go.
I was just pretty much gonna say that like people will always tell you like, yeah, I practiced, but when you ask them about it or you probe deeper or like whatever, they didn't really, or they don't understand how much other people are practicing. Like if you look at Scared's putting in like an hour and a half every day, or at least like 45 minutes or something. Yeah, I'm putting in like a couple of hours every 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean? Maca's doing 12 hours a day of wave dashes. And then like you'll talk to someone else and they didn't do anything. Or like I watched Jackalanch play recently, and he played really well. It was the cleanest I've ever seen him play. And I was like, hey man, have you been practicing? He's like, yeah, I actually played a lot this week. And I was like, I can tell. You look good.
Yeah.
Keep it up. And I'm pretty sure he didn't. But
it's only so much you can do.
You just need to keep trucking along and like just do your thing and actually play the game. Or even like me, a lot of my practice these days isn't super structured. I mean, I'm playing All Star. That's how I'm practicing right now.
Dude, it's hard.
I
suck at
grinding
All-Star.
I think it's good. I think it helps you like mitigate damage. It helps you work around CC percents. Otherwise, you're getting fucking CC jabbed by
They're
Ganondorf.
so good. Dude, Ganon messes me up in All-Star. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I come up next to him and trying to hit him, and like he's just jabbed me, and he just like
or he
upbeats your shield, and you're like, but why did you do that? Like, dude, I struggle with All-Star. Oh my god.
But yeah, I actually think surprisingly All-Star's like decent. It helps you practice 0 to deaths. It's got more of a what's the word? It's shittier when you lose because it's not just like,
dude,
I lost.
You just feel so bad.
And then it helps you mitigate damage, work around CC, stuff like that. Yeah, and it's fun, and that's the biggest thing. It's just like you still get to focus on certain things. Like I'm focusing on my punish against a lot of the characters, and it's fun. Yeah, and it keeps me interested because I'm not just sitting there like brain off, just beating up Fox on.
It's also bloody hard. It's not easy. Like I went into it thinking,
don't do that again, Logan. That looks so bad.
It's alright. We cut off that part. We can't see it. But no, seriously, it's like Logan told me he was playing All Star. I'm like, I'll give it a try, and it's embarrassing how bad I am at All Star. Like. I haven't gotten through half the cast yet. I've given up. I'm just like I'm playing.
I got to the last
amount
one
of
the other day.
SDs. Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Maca?
Sorry, yeah, Maca, you're probably pulling us back.
No, I was just gonna say that if you want to get better than people, generally you need to practice more than they're practicing. So like, as you're saying, like if everyone. Yeah, or better practice. Yeah. So if you're a noob trying to move up the ranks, you got to be doing more practice than the other noobs, which isn't really hard.
Look, most of them don't do too much, so you're fine.
Most of them aren't doing anything, so you naturally move up. Or new people come into the scene, and so you move up by default because you now got newer people than yourself. But
Yeah.
I think you've got to realize what Logan was saying, that like other people are practicing too, and you got to be doing more or better practice than them if you want to get better than them.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna move us on to the next one, and it's kind of like a really open-ended topic. It's players to watch in Queensland / players that are doing the correct thing that you think will like breed results. Like, and this is super open-ended. I didn't even have any ideas when making up this topic. I was like, this could be interesting, this could spark discussion, or it could just fall really flat and die. So
Well, it ties into everything though.
oh, it does.
Like even it ties into Summit. Like who's paying for Summit? Who is like a lower mid-level player
that has
who wants to get good enough that they're putting their money on the line?
Yeah, exactly. They're putting $150 into having a good time with friends, but also improving in Melee. Like, that's commitment to trying to improve, I reckon. That's something that is lacking in the scene in lower level players.
When people are struggling to make $5 for like entry fee, yet they're putting $150 on the line, it's like, all right, buddy.
Then they want it. They want that.
Yeah.
But so you'd say people to watch, Logan. You'd say people that are going to Downsmash Summit.
Yeah.
Well, in general,
I think people that are gonna get better. I think in our scene at least, I would probably say Jackalanch. If you
we're naming names, are we? Ooh, this is my favorite part.
I mean,
yeah,
it says players to watch.
Do it.
It says players.
Do it.
Am I meant to give you like general?
Give me the names.
I think the Puff players are doing
Puff
pretty well.
players are doing
Puff
good.
players might rise up.
I want names, Logan. So you said Jackalanch
yeah.
as number one.
I think Jackalanch can do it if he keeps it up. I think he's got even his style. He plays very like 20GX, which I think shows that he wants to win. He's doing smart thing, or he's at least trying to like reaction tech chase and stuff like that instead of going for the cool stuff.
Yeah.
So you can tell his focus, although he does just do the most retarded suicide dares.
It's so great.
Most of his gameplay is very focused on trying to get better.
Yeah.
So I'd say him. I think Bad is pretty good. I can only see Bad going up. Oh, he's playing Ganon. He has like no noob habits like that most people have. He doesn't shield grab constantly. He won't just leave center stage for no reason. He'll sit in there and he'll space you out. Use tilts well. Mixes up what he's doing out of wavelands.
And he picks things up pretty quickly as well. Like I mentioned to him, I was playing against him and he would shield and I would back air and he would roll out of shield like every time, like without fail. He would always roll out of shield every time I hit his shield. And I let him know that. And then the next week he wasn't doing that anymore and he's not doing that anymore. So like he's picking up on these things and improving faster than I think anyone that I can see in like the amateur bracket that we had on Thursday night.
For sure.
It's good as well. He's even asking questions. Like I briefly mentioned something to him because I was commentating one of his games versus Dr. Jim, and I kind of looked at both of their perspectives. And I mentioned that to him, and he immediately starts like asking me some things like, should I be doing this? What do you think about this? And I kind of just spoke to him about a couple of things, walked him through some stuff, and even some of the stuff he's like, yeah, no, I'm already trying to practice that, already trying to do this and that. He's like, what about this? We even spoke about like frame data, just briefly, I guess. But no, yeah, I think I think he'll be good because he seems to focus on the right things, and I honestly don't know how he's not just shield grabbing like crazy,
dude.
Especially as Ganon, where you get nothing.
Yeah,
he has a lot of self control.
Yeah, no, he's one I'm really looking forward to keep him moving up because there was a while there where like he came along, it was kind of like bad as per his name, and now I feel like I've seen a market improvement in this last month, like from when he started coming to Downsmash, his first Downsmash Gold Coast, compared to last Downsmash Brisbane. Like, there's a huge improvement in that month, like in a month and a half, 2 months there. And like, I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing it good. And like he's putting in time practicing. He's thinking about the game. He's actively making sure he doesn't have bad habits, which I think is really, really cool to see out of a relatively new player. So yeah. But any other players you reckon? Is there those two are the big ones?
Though we don't see him very often, I think Mungo has potential just because of like his history in esports. Apparently, he's a pretty good CS:GO player, and he seems to be on net play a lot. So like he's got some stuff to work on, obviously. But I think in terms of like raw potential, like it's there for him.
for sure.
He has that potential, and like he's like friends with Sora and like often talking to like the top players and stuff like that. So if he can use that to his advantage, then he could get a lot
He just
better.
needs to come to events though.
That's a really
he doesn't
big
go to
one.
events.
Yeah.
He leaves relatively early, like 30, 40 minutes early, even though our tournaments last like 3 hours kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's kind of picky on who he practices like friendly or he has friendlies with, which he shouldn't be if he's losing to certain people. Like Maca and I were playing on a setup, and I think I was playing Fox, he was playing Peach. We're playing our secondaries, and he lost to Maca's Peach like twice, and then unplugs, goes to another setup. And it's like, that's like, I understand it might be boring, but there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
Even if you're losing, even if you're just getting down smashed like crazy. Yeah. Like you should use that as time to practice working around the down smash. What can I do? How can I keep him from down smashing my shit constantly?
Yeah.
So like, I think when anyone you're playing, I guess not anyone, that's not the right way to put it. But when you're playing people that can beat you, you shouldn't be as picky. You're going to end up having to go up against these other people in bracket. You know what I mean? Like, don't just fish for friendlies like you, for example, Scared.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets a win on you in friendlies, like, that's cool. But you're probably going to be playing other people in bracket first. So, you know, focus on that.
I think there's also a lot of merit to playing people that you pretty consistently beat, even in friendlies, even in bracket. To practice certain parts of the game, you don't really get to practice against better players. It will just mess you up. And I think like different follow-ups or what have you, but I think there's a lot of, which I started net playing some more, and I've really appreciated being able to do what I want, and be able to practice certain things that I can't really put into practice yet against better players, because they'll punish me for poor spacing or for whatever. I think that's something that some of the low level players can, that are kind of like in the middle of Amas or the top of Amas, where they're like they're on that cusp, but they're constantly failing against people above them, but pretty well beating the people below them. I think they can practice a bit more against people below them in specific things and improve that way as well.
I watched an interview with an old Quake pro, and he pretty much said something really similar, and I thought it was really smart. It was essentially that a lot of the top players didn't grind with other top players. They do like maybe 1 or 2 sets a day. That's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes or something. And that was good, but besides that, they played predominantly with people worse than them. Not like obviously trashy, but like enough that they would just be winning every single game without a doubt.
Yeah.
And what it helped them with was it helped them kind of create their own flow and experiment within the game without getting too punished for it.
Yeah.
Helped them practice their movement without being too stifled, and it gave them the confidence to go for these things that they've practiced constantly in higher level games.
For sure.
In general, it just helped their self-confidence. It's like, I might, if I'm playing you, for example, I might get like a knee in the corner of the stage or something.
Yeah.
And I could just jump out and potentially react to if you DI in, get another knee. But a lot of the time, I might stop and I'll just turn around, grab a ledge. And it's kind of like, if I had the confidence to go out there, if I played more people and experimented more, I could be going for these things.
Yeah.
And I think, I think practicing with people worse than was significantly underrated. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It helps you just clean up every part of your play. It helps you punish, get better.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not like autopiloting, you need to kind of
definitely. But at the same time, we're not saying it's bad to play against better players as well. Like playing against better players is consistently very good. Like they're going to punish you for doing stuff you don't even realize you're doing badly. But we're saying that there's 2 levels to it. Like playing against poor players isn't bad in every situation. It can be really, really useful. At the same time, playing against better players can be bad sometimes. But like that's kind of what
I think playing better players will help your upper level. You know what I mean? It helps you get better in general.
Yeah.
And playing worse people kind of helps you clean up that bottom.
The skill floor.
Your consistency isn't, like all over the place. You've actually narrowed it down a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it's really good to just
kind of like lifts up and you just kind of follow it upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like playing lower level players allows you to improve your pitch and be more aggressive and be more confident, because you can do that. Because if you jump off stage to do an edge guard and you SD, it doesn't matter because you're going to win anyway. Whereas it's so hard to like not try and win if you're playing people at a similar level to you, or even if you're playing people at high level. High level is really good to like realize what's unsafe and what's not guaranteed and stuff like that. So you might get a combo consistently on a low level player, and then you play a high level player, and they'll get out of it, and you'll get punished for it, or you'll be landing unsafely, and they'll punish you for that. And so, like they help you improve in different ways. But
Definitely.
playing as high level players can be hard for extended periods of time because you just get so demoralized. Like I play against Quetz, and he just like destroys me for an hour and a half, and then I'm like, that's all I can handle.
I'm out.
Like,
I'm done.
I can't do any more melee today because
I know the feel.
I've just lost every game. And my only like
Quetz is nuts. He always feels like that he's never like stressed. It's always just kind of like he could be like doing something else and playing. And you just kind of sitting there, you're like, I'm getting fucking destroyed.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like
he taps my shield, and I just have to panic and just buffer like 8 rolls out to the corner and just escape. Like, and you can tell that he's just chilling.
Yeah.
Like he's focused, but he's just chilling. Yeah. And that's like
that's sick.
That can be fucking hard sometimes.
So, other people that I'm excited to see, Techno, I'm excited to see how he goes. He actually texted me and said, dude, if there's ever like another summit, let me know, because he's keen.
Little Techno.
And I said, would you be able to go if it's during school time? And he went and checked with his parents, and unfortunately they said it's not in school time. He might be able to go, but if it's during school, he won't. I'm like, dude, where are your parents' priorities? Come on, like melee over school.
Melee's
every
important,
time,
my guy.
But he's young. He's like what, 15, 16 or something like that.
About that, 15.
But he's keen and he could get better. And I think someone who's moving up that we haven't talked about is Kami, who has like kind of been like in that middle level of the PR for quite some time, kind of like upper middle.
Yeah.
And he's like started beating Psych, started beating Rob.
Yeah.
Taking sets off Smo. Like he took.
It was
Smo still won on Thursday, but Kami reset the bracket against him, and has been taking some sets off him. So really, like, he's been moving up a lot.
Yeah, I'd say that's a really big point. Is that Kami's been putting in a lot of time practice wise, has been watching a lot of sets, has been on that grind. And
I think his punish has gotten a lot better. Like,
it's not so wishy-washy. I remember I went back and watched one of my sets versus him ages ago just to see how far I'd come, because I wanted to stroke my ego a little bit. And it was interesting seeing the comparison from Kami like 7-8 months ago to now. I feel like he just plays so much cleaner. Like there isn't a whole lot of wasted energy when he's playing. Like the stuff that he does, I think he's playing with a lot more intention now than he used to. Like he kind of just did the Fox things before, but I think he actively tries to keep people in a combo or to end a combo well, rather than kind of just hitting people because they're there, which I think has been the main big increase in his game, I would say.
Yeah, I think back in the day, I think just doing Fox things is kind of the right way to put it. He just kind of like rushed you down, and he was just better than you.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked. I think, his punish has gotten a lot better. I think his neutral still probably one of the lower end of his skills. But like when he smells blood, you're out. That stock's gone.
Yeah.
I think in general he's definitely gotten a bit better. You just watch his punish on like Smo, and it's good. And that's kind of why I wish Smo would try a little bit more instead of going for these nutty combos.
They're good though.
Yeah, they're fucking disgusting.
They're so nice.
But I think Oro, for example, has been a big one that's forced him to get his shit together regarding not just doing Fox things. Because if you just try to do Fox things against someone who's willing to just dash dance camp you, like you're gonna.
It's not gonna be a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're a moth. So I think that's helped a lot. Regarding Techno as well, actually, we've wanted to get Techno to come up to like Up Smash for a while, or like a weekend tournament, but it's been, we're kind of waiting for not waiting for the right moment, but I guess it's like Up Smash is on a Thursday, so we probably can't come up. He'll get home really late.
Well, you get home late on the Gold Coast. It's an hour away.
But he also hit me up the other day and was like, "Hey man, like you wrote a practice list for Scared when he was new. Can you do one for me?" And I was like, "Yep." And then I gave him like 3,000 words. And
oh god!
When you ask Logan for help, it's kind of like you got to get ready to get help dumped on top of you. Like it's gonna be like it's a truckload of links and like paragraphs of words, and just get dumped on you, and you're like, "This is amazing." It may take me 6 months to work it out.
Practice.
Pretty much.
He replied to it like 2 hours later with the words, oh shit.
I was like, that's so appropriate. But
I wish I could have written more on that though, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm learning.
But maybe
It was super funny.
when school holidays goes, which will happen soon, depending on whether he's government school or private school. Like private school comes out in like 1 to 2 weeks, so maybe he'll be able to come to stuff once he's on holidays,
For sure.
and which will be good to
That'd
have
be
him at like events. And I want to see how he goes against like a larger pool of players, because Downsmash Gold Coast is like 7 to 10 people, whereas Downsmash Brisbane is like 25 people.
Yeah.
So
I think that'd be a sick motivator as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's one of his issues is he just kind of plays.
Yeah.
And like you can tell he wants to practice, but like there's not a huge drive for it. So I think taking him out of the pond would be good. And that I want Burnsy to come to things as well for that same reason.
It'd be nice for sure.
I want
Alright,
Burnsy
well,
to come back.
I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit. I want the final thoughts.
I got so many more people to talk to.
I know you got a lot.
There's all these people.
All these people that are so good. But would you say those are your main ones? Would you say that, like, you got the Jackalanche, you've got Bad, you've got Techno, you've got Kami, who's been really pumping it out. I'd say out of the people, other than us three amazing players who are constantly on the up and up, I'd say those are the ones you're mostly looking out for.
I had a shocking week this week.
Except, oh no, we had a bit of an issue.
Oh no, you've also got like Brad. You've got XP 2000.
Yeah.
You've got even Boonsong potentially as well. They're kind of that like just below the PR that could go.
But would you say
like,
that they're actively improving as much as the other players? Would you say?
Well, I don't know because I don't speak to them that much, so I don't know what their practice schedule is like or anything like that. But they're kind of their results seem to be like pretty
Trending
consistent.
upwards.
I know. Well, maybe slowly. Like I know XP has taken games off you, sets off you.
Yeah.
I know he took a set off Oro as well, which is really good. That was only a couple of months ago. Brad's taken sets off Thralls. So yeah, they are on the upward trend.
Yeah.
But it's just once you get to that like just below PR level, it's really hard to move up.
Yeah.
To break in and to get those wins, and you might get one win sporadically every few months until you get significantly better where you can go head to head with these guys.
Yeah.
I think
So it's hard to
Boonsong.
tell.
I think Boonsong could be really good, but I don't think he plays enough people. Like if Boonsong got net play and just grinded out on that, I think he'd be pretty good because he's like a more technical Entice. You know what I mean? Like he's the Falco. He's just pressing buttons. He's
more
really
technical
fast. He's
than
really
Entice.
I think Entice does some things that are a little bit smarter technical wise. Like if you
Yeah.
ever hit Entice on a platform and he slides off, you're getting back in the face.
Yeah, that's true.
But Boonsong's just really fast. But I think like the way Westball's described Axis Falco, I feel is very similar, where it's just like it's a Ferrari that no one's driving. You know what I mean? You like take a step to the side and you just grab him for it.
Yeah.
But I think like he's got the foundation just done, and he plays a myriad of characters. So if he sat down and practiced, I think he'd probably skyrocket a bit.
That's fair.
And I think XP and Brad are good, but I think what they do they're good at, but I think they need a little bit like more not intention behind things, but I think they need a little bit more adaptation. Like a lot of the times XP will run you down, but when you prove that you can get out of his rush down, he doesn't start to like really push you to the edge and then start rushing you down. You know what I mean? He doesn't constrict your space first. And Brandino is kind of the opposite, where Brad, he'll kind of play a little bit more reserved and like a little bit bait heavy, but then he doesn't really adapt too much out of that. Occasionally he might start going like really aggro, but you can tell it's not his strongest point because he doesn't practice too much. Things like that. There's a couple of other players that I want to keep an eye out. Pretty
Blasco?
much.
Blasco.
Blasco.
Has
I want to.
and
I think sitting down with Blasco at like events is always good. Like when we spoke to him at OHN and I taught him some things, like stage control orientated stuff. He's very receptive and he seems to like it and listen. But yeah, I just don't think he's playing enough, or he doesn't play with the right intention when he's practicing. Similar with Masenko. I think Masenko is sick, but I don't know if Masenko cares enough to sit down and grind out parries.
I don't think Masenko cares. I think he's just chilling.
He's just chilling.
enjoys,
He
like-
wants to come along for the fun and the games and the friends.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think.
call there. But I'm gonna wrap it up. We've hit
Wow,
a
alright.
bit of time.
Why such a rush, Scared?
I don't want the people to have to watch hours and hours.
Wouldn't
of
you rather
videos.
the people sit there and an hour down? They're like, this is really good, but I have to do
True,
something. I'm
but-
gonna hit pause.
see,
I'm
we
gonna
leave
come
them-
back,
we
and we
leave
get
them
extra
wanting more.
views.
Or they
We get
can
extra views on YouTube.
they can
It's true.
decide I'm gonna finish right here, and then we can just shit talk for the next half an
Sure,
hour, and
if
people don't have to tune into
you
that.
know what? I'm gonna give that a try. We'll do that, Maca. I'm gonna officially end the show
On the next episode.
right now. We're done. No. But I think while this has been really good, I think we could go along and just talk about every player and their potential and all that sort of stuff. But I kind of want to nail down 4 or 5 players
ones.
that you are really looking that you would back in a race versus other players. Like we could go on, we could say, AK is looking really good now. He's coming back. His Samus and stuff is cleaned up a little bit. There's like all that sort of stuff that you can talk about. But as far as like who you'd bet on in a horse race, like who is your big
Just regarding progression. not
just
like
regarding
leading up.
progression? Yeah, I'd say. Just okay.
Yeah.
I'll go down the line. We'll start with you, Logan. Get a
My
definitive.
4?
Your 4.
I think definitely bad. If Dosium gets net play going, maybe Dosium.
I
Um,
think it's so much
Jackline.
easier when you're down the bottom to move
Yeah.
your way up
Yes,
as well.
true.
that's what I'm thinking, but
There's
it's
more
kind of
metrics.
wishy-washy as well because they're the least likely to practice as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say bad. I'm gonna put money on Boonsong.
Yeah. So that's your 4. You'd say
What? No, I said 2. I said bad Boonsong.
What?
Dosium. You said Dosium.
You said Dosium and
said
Jack
maybe
Lynch as
Dosium.
well.
No, I was talking about net play. Fuck.
Okay.
I'm gonna say.
Logan, you've got 4. Okay, so bad, Boon Song. You got 2 more.
I'm gonna say Entice because I love Entice.
Entice is beautiful.
Just if he goes to more shit, he'll get better.
Yeah.
But most tournaments aren't on at 4 a.m. And then it's either a toss up of like Dosium or Jackalanch. Could go either way.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's
My
just
turn?
those two
turn,
are just
Maca.
like pretty much whoever cares more.
Whoever puts in the most time, I reckon. All right, Maca, you're up.
Yeah.
Okay, so my money is on firstly Kami. I think Kami has the potential to dethrone Smopop if he continues on his current trajectory. Whether or not Smopop picks up his game or things change, but yeah, so I put my money on Kami. You Scared, myself. I'm gonna back myself, and then last would be either bad or I do think I look at XP.
Okay.
I look at XP and I think he has the potential to move up. You don't care enough, Thralls.
That's
You're
true,
just
that's
like
true.
It's true.
you're just like you're pretty happy with your like spot on lower end of the PR, and you're like,
You
yeah.
can remove me from PR.
He
I'd
doesn't
be
even
fine.
mind. He'd be
Yeah.
fine with that.
You wouldn't
Like,
care. You don't have like the hunger and the
I'm
drive.
actively trying to
whereas-
get that PR spot, and Logan's like, take me off. I don't care.
Yeah, just
Like,
toss
come
me off.
on.
Let me be a hidden boss.
Yeah.
I'll beat a bunch of people in PR, but just let me be a hidden boss. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to know my name.
Nah, do people
Yeah,
know my name?
So that's kind of my fault.
That's fair.
Or 5.
I'd say similar to yours, Maca. I'm not gonna put myself on because that's pretentious. But if I could, I would.
Just put yourself on 4 times.
Yeah, pretty well.
Scared.
No, I'd say.
There's
I'd-
me in vanilla costume. There's me in red costume.
Yep. No.
There's me in like green
No,
fox.
I'm not. No, Green Fox is not on there. Green Fox is the grossest fox.
Fucking
I'd say.
Green Fox is the second best Fox.
I'd even be tempted to put
He's the
Logan
best.
on there because while Logan doesn't, he doesn't actively, he does actively improve. But I think you've actually improved a lot since we've started playing together a lot. Like since we have been like
so
trying to
as well.
grind together and been talking about the game, and like I think going back and watching an old VOD where you and I were playing and you were dunking me, it wasn't even close. But I feel like your play has improved so much, and just watching you play against Kami on stream and just like watching how you move and how you use shield pivots and stuff, I think you've improved a lot. So I'd put you on that list, Logan, as one that's still going to be moving upwards. Maca, I don't know. I struggle with you. I think while yes, you will be improving, it's going to be at a slower rate compared to a lot of other players. So as far as
I think
like
you just
the
need to stop
upwards
being aggressive.
progression-
Just space bears.
yeah,
you'll
rather
be
than
great.
like drifting in towards them all the
Stop
time.
charging in at them.
So
The
Mac,
heart
you don't
wants
make the
what it
cut. I'm sorry.
wants.
I'd say your bad definitely is 100% on my list. I think he's gotten a lot better recently. I'd say Kami's definitely on there as well. So that's 3, and then I guess as far as like the lower level spectrum, I'd say
What do you think about Aura?
Oro I struggle with a little bit. He seems to have the drive and but he's gotten a bit better, a decent amount better. But I think his gameplay revolves too much around being defensive, and when he's forced to be aggressive, he struggles, and that's something that I think is going to hold him back until he really works on stuff like that. So I think he's stayed around the level he's been for a while now. I don't know if it's just like he's not practicing as much as he used to or whatever, but I think that's one of the major things that's stopping me from putting him on the list. So I'd say I'd probably choose a lower level player, which I think Jack's got it in him to. I think he's coming along to lots of events. He drives down to Downsmash Gold Coast every week. Like he brings a setup. Like he's I think he actually wants to improve, and I'd say I'd put him on my list as well. So that'd be my 4. That'd be Logan, Thralls, Kami, Bad, and Jack Lynch. I'd say are the ones I'm looking out for.
With Oro though, staying where he is, it's pretty hard once you get to like that point. Like, what is he, 6th or 7th or something on the PR? Like, it
Somewhere
gets a
around
lot
there.
harder to like
Yeah.
move up from there.
But even
I think
it's the
he's,
fact. Sorry, you go.
I was just saying, I think he's been kind of wishy-washy. I think when we first started really getting into tournaments, he was a lot more like motivated than I was. He was going to everything.
Yeah.
And like we always talk about Prime or he didn't miss a chain grab. He didn't do this. Like he never missed an edge guard. It was really solid. And since then, he's dipped off a little bit. I think him and I both got in a state where we just kind of chilling, doing our thing, started playing aggressive because we could. And then I don't think his aggressive play is like super sick, but his defensive play kind of dropped off a little bit. But then as well, he learnt kind of some different matchups and some other things he was struggling with. So he's probably gotten better overall. But the things that made him strong, I think he could work on and get them back up to where he was. Like if we had Prime Aura with being decent at the Sheik matchup, being decent at the Math matchup, things like that, I think he'd be doing a lot better. Like I think his games versus Kami, for example, like these days Kami feels confident going to FD against him because he'll miss a lot of the chain grabs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was a straight no-go.
Yeah.
No one went there. It was just like we go there and it's an immediate loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's gotten better, but it's definitely not prime or material again.
Cool.
But I'd like to see it. He's
Well,
motivated.
I'd say that's the 4, the big 4. Everyone's looking forward to. I reckon we kill this. I reckon we kill it. I reckon we kill corner pressure. I reckon we call it.
Let's call it off, but
There's
then
no
let's
episode 3.
Call it.
let's call it off, but then let's record some shit talk at the end for those super
For the
keen.
fans.
For
Why
the
are we
extra
shit
views,
talking though? I don't
for the
understand.
monetary purposes.
I feel like
For just us talking
Dozium?
to each
Should we
other
just
like we
talk
normally
Dozium?
do.
I feel that's all I want to do right now.
I can do that.
Are you
Oh,
guys,
well,
are you guys
let's-
cool with that? All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to Corner Pressure. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. I've been scared. We have had a Maca. We've had a Logan. Thralls. If you want to find any of our socials and stuff, you can just Google our names. It'll probably be there. Now, if you're looking interested in any events coming up in Queensland, around the southeast Queensland area, they're just down in that direction there. Events, facebook.com/group/Queensland Smash. All of our stuff goes in there. The stream that we use when we're streaming Downsmash Brisbane and Downsmash Gold Coast, and I believe UQ's as well, which is our monthly, is twitch.tv/downsmashed. And if you're interested in chatting to us on Discord, you're very welcome to join our Discord just at the link below, downsmash.com/discord. We'll send you straight to that invite link. But thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Corner Pressure episode 2. All done and done. But we're gonna keep recording.
Is this going to be a fortnightly thing? Is it going to be a monthly?
So
what are we doing?
we had
When's
a bit of
episode 3?
feedback, and people seem to enjoy Corner Pressure, which I was very happy with.
Shocker.
Look, I think it was the personalities really. So we're at the moment we're looking at a fortnightly basis, probably between an hour 15, hour 45 sort of timeline. So that seems to be getting good responses. We'll see how this one goes when we put it up. But yeah, fortnightly at the moment seems to be the go. So catch us
And
next
that's just
time.
if we can keep the content up.
Content is look, we we have Logan. We can talk about anything for up to 3 hours straight. We are fine.
Put me in a
also,
car ride and everyone's just fucking
we
mad.
will
Shit.
maybe have guests on the show. One of us might take a bit of a backseat or a break. Might not be on the show. Maca might not be here. Logan might not. I might not be here. I'll probably be here. But so we are interested in having guests on the show. If you do want to be on the show, please get in contact with myself over Discord. We can have some chats. We can see. But thank you for tuning in. We're gonna keep the recording going though. We're gonna keep chatting because these guys aren't done. They're not
Well, we
done.
could do it as a bonus episode.
Ooh, it's a bonus episode. You're right.
Yeah,
I will
like
start
half an
recording.
hour,
And they'll be
released
like-
separately.
If you are interested in seeing more of us on Corner Pressure Exposed, that's not what it's gonna be called. It's not gonna be called that. Please check out the bonus video that will be turning up at some point over the week. But that's it from us. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
See you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. All right.